You cut me off at the wrong time, unless it's a foreign. Okay, so what is it?
Freaking white people.
Oh my gosh,
it's what a foreign. Is it? Okay, so we're gonna show you. Are you done texting?
Almost.
Are you done texting?
Almost.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Quinnton.
There we go. Now you have my undivided attention.
We're there yet? Okay. All right. So this is Rubbermaid, not sponsored.
Oh my word.
But here.
Okay, now it looks like it's got mold on it. Oh no, it's not. Okay, it's not mold. It's like cake, or I don't know. It looks good.
All right. So for everyone else to see, because he said mold, I want to.
It's not mold. It's like food coloring or something. It's not mold. It just through the packaging, it looked like mold, which I'm sure you could agree. Like with this on top and just like a mere glance, yeah, that 100% is like. Is that moldy bread?
We are not feeding him moldy bread.
I would not eat moldy bread
today.
I would not eat moldy bread, period.
So this is called king cake.
Okay. Did we talk about it? It sounds familiar.
We might have talked about it.
Okay.
Tiny baby Jesus, plastic baby stuck inside, and if you get the slice with the small tiny baby Jesus plastic statue, then you win, and you get to host Mardi Gras, the party next year.
You wouldn't knowingly eat moldy bread. I wouldn't eat moldy bread. Never. I never eat moldy bread.
He didn't find out last time, so you're right. All right.
Check my bread, thank you.
So is that ringing any bells? Tiny
yes.
Baby, plastic
other
baby?
than the like what, like okay, you got it. Now you have to host next year.
Yes.
Which for me, I'd just swallow the baby Jesus, just like, oh no, somebody else has gotten it. Darn. I wonder where it went.
Well, it's a. Do you have it still, or did you put it away?
Did you win? Did you?
I found it this year.
She found it this year. The first.
Okay.
So the first slice that she cut, she found it.
Who was the person to give it to you?
So traditionally speaking, more people are over.
Okay.
When you have this king cake.
Right.
So we were hoping to have, you and
oh, was this
else.
the Mardi Gras thing that you did
thing.
on our friend's birthday?
Right. And he was out of town. He doesn't count.
Teasing.
Right. So aside from that, yeah, we were hoping to have you and your wife and our other friends from Heber. So theoretically, you would get it, or Tron would get it, or I also invited my barber, so he and his husband would get it. We got it, which doesn't really count, but
well, it counts.
in any event, we're gonna do it next year anyways. So
it's not a Christmas thing. It's a
no. So I'm glad you brought that up. I was under the impression it was a Christmas thing because for some strange reason, when I lived in Belgium, we did it during Christmas.
Okay.
Which I come to find out, no, that's wrong. That's wrong time, like wrong time of year. This is for King Day. Right?
This is for King's Day.
King's Day.
Do you have the little guy?
Let me find them. He's easy to find. Having the king cake is signifying the beginning of Epiphany in the Catholic religion. And it's also when the three kings arrive in Jerusalem to meet Jesus when he's 2.
When he's 2?
Yeah, you didn't know that.
I didn't know he came back. I didn't know they came back. I thought they just showed up in the mangers.
Well,
and here's
no. That's the first time they see it. The first.
Yeah. And I thought
He was 2.
when he was 2.
Yes.
I thought.
No, that's the incorrect thing. It's also incorrect that he was born around Christmas.
Well, I know that.
Like that's the same. It's the same thing. They found out about it and they went to see him, but it wasn't until he was 2 because see how travel works.
Every nativity play is.
Oh yeah,
I'm pregnant. I don't know why she sounds like that.
that's what happens, right? Is you go, I'm pregnant.
She says, "I'm pregnant. We have no rooms. You go in the
Yeah,
barn.
yeah.
I'm in the barn. There's a
you
star.
have the baby,
You have
and
the
then
baby.
2 years elapse.
No, but
yeah, 2 years elapse.
But in the play, it's all the same night.
See, what you're missing is every play that you've gone to, they have a little a little banner that comes across maybe like the top or something like that of like the theater, right, of the stage, and it just quickly just comes down. It just says 2 years later.
Okay,
and then pops
all right,
back up.
SpongeBob. Thanks. Yeah, I don't believe they ever had that banner come down. Nevertheless,
Every play he's ever been to.
This is the cake
'Kay.
in which Genji. This is people food. This is the cake that they celebrate in that they use to celebrate King's Day, and we would like you to have a piece.
I would love to have a piece. There's no baby in here, right?
No, there's no baby.
Okay, because I don't want to host.
Again, we
Oh,
got
like
the
pull.
baby.
It's like pull apart.
It's not supposed to be exactly a pull apart, but yeah.
Yeah, it's yummy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Did you find baby? Baby G. This is Baby G.
Oh, you could swallow that. It'd probably hurt, but you could do it. Or you chew it up a little, make it like a piece of gum.
You would find it in your slice, and you would go left and then right and go, and then grab 2 other pieces to try to mush it up like mulch.
Yeah,
to try to get it
you
to
could
try to get it
totally-
down.
Yeah, you could totally munch that. Look,
But
look
then
how
we would
small
all,
this is.
we would all look at you like, Quinnton, are you okay? Like you would look like a weird cow.
No, you
like
could do it.
trying
You
to chew it up.
What you do is you're doing it too hastily. You want to sit there and like literally a piece of gum. You want to chew on it a little, put it in your gums, chew on a little more. Like you want to
I
slowly
kind of want to see
destroy
him
this
try
thing.
this, but at the same time, I don't want I don't want to have to call like 911 because you did it wrong. So I want to say on stream and for the podcast, please do not swallow large objects.
Or small objects. Swallow food, not objects.
There we go. That if you don't learn anything from today's show, that's the thing to walk away with. Swallow food, not objects. Thank you, Jesus. There you go.
I'm just gonna enjoy some more of this if that's
Yeah, go at it, man. I generally don't like you chewing into the mic, but I feel like it's a soft enough cake that it doesn't sound like you're doing ASMR.
I'm gonna bring Doritos next time.
Oh, please don't. I'm glad you like it. I've
ASMR.
Tech
It's
and
my
an
lucky
ASMR
day.
stream is kid. This
See.
kid, I love that you're here, and but I also apologize that this is the first stream that you're watching. You have to deal with this, but thank you for being here. No mukbang, Kid Shorn. No mukbang, not today. You know what mukbang is? Is it mukbang or mukbang? Like
I was gonna say that looks like mukbang, but unless it's a foreign.
It is. I believe it's a Japanese term.
You cut me off at the wrong time. Unless it's a foreign. Okay, so what is it?
Freaking white people.
Oh my gosh,
it's a
what is
foreign.
it? What is it?
It's for my understanding, and kid, you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but it's basically when you kind of sloppily eat very slimy like foods.
Oh, sorry.
But like, think of like eating a freaking octopus.
Oh, so it's got like lots of squelching
Yeah.
and like.
So it's in like. It's not really meant to be sexual necessarily, but obviously people have their own thing, which is, good for you. But there are YouTube channels where they will just eat the slimiest stuff, and sometimes it's just like a hamburger or something. But yeah, I've seen some pretty exotic foods, and it's an interesting subculture.
All right.
Yeah.
Not for me, but all right.
Okay, so it's actually it might be Korean, not Japanese. So I apologize.
Okay. Let's see. Mukbang is how I'd want to pronounce that.
Yeah, and I think that's what I said
Mukbang.
the first time, wasn't it? Or I said muck.
You said muck. Yeah.
I did say muck. You're right.
But you got the latter half right.
yeah,
which
so
was
I'm
mukbang.
50% right, which is still an F. So I still failed.
Yeah.
Damn
Well, I
it.
mean, how can you? That's not. How do you grade something that only has like a
2 syllables.
like? Well, like you have a test and it only
Yeah.
has 2 questions, someone gets it half right,
Yeah,
is that passing or failing?
it's failing. Like by the definition of percentages,
Well, right.
where 50% has always, in my experience, been an F.
But do we scale it? Do we change it? Because like I learned that our buddy that's going to physical therapy school, passing is like 75%. You have to get a 75 to not be an
Well,
F.
I think because of his line of work that he's getting into.
Right, you probably don't want someone that
You
got a
don't, like,
60% on
I
the
passed
test. I got
physical therapy
61
with 50%. So
With a
50%
D
of the
minus.
time, you are gonna be fine. So don't think about the negatives there. What item has drastically changed your life?
item.
Yeah, I think like in recent circumstances, I think I would know the answer for you.
All right, what do you think my answer is? This that makes it even more curious.
Skis.
Skis.
Yeah, it's drastically changed your life, and like for
That's
you,
fair.
For you, definitely for the better. You're a lot more active. I told you, I don't know when it was, but I told you you looked thinner, and it's great to see you out there on the slopes. We're all kind of tired of it. Just letting you know, we don't care that you got new skis and you got these new bindings, like big freaking whoop. Get over it. We're in Utah. Everyone has skis.
Okay,
It's not
thank
jealousy.
You, thank you. I was wondering. I was like, wow, this is some attitude. I actually am like a little self-conscious about that around our friends and stuff. I try to not talk about like skiing and stuff because I know that's like all I do. Like tomorrow will be day 50.
No, you're good about it. Like when you are wondering if you should get this jacket or that jacket, you don't make a huge like announcement to everybody. Which jacket? Like you do it with a little bit of class, and especially like you'll pull our friend Chef aside, who's also an avid skier. So obviously he makes the most sense. And if I show interest, then you show me. But you don't where I am with skiing. Skiing to me is like a nice distant cousin that I don't mind seeing every once in a while. But you won't like reel me into the conversation to effectively force me to get into skiing and or anything like that. So that's why I say like for you, I think skis would be the item that drastically changed your life. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's fair.
Because like
I didn't think about it that way.
Before that, I would say VR. Because what I noticed about you is you go through these phases where one thing kind of takes over, not your identity, but it takes over your attention.
Okay.
And I think that's great. Everybody needs a hobby. I'm not saying skiing's just a hobby for you. But for that time, VR was the thing. You're like, I'm doing Beat Saber. I'm closing my rings. I've learned how to do this with VR. And I mean, you were one step away from like streaming it or recording yourself and posting it on YouTube.
I did stream it.
You did, but I would say you how do I phrase this? With your knowledge of what you can do, you had the capability of going the extra mile because you have,
No, I agree with that. To the only point I would say I have the mental capability of going the extra
saying.
mile.
Yeah.
I did not have the hardware capability.
yes and no. There are a few plugins that, and again, I don't know all of your hardware, but I do know that you and I have similar hardware, and I feel like you might not have the computer power to do it all because I know your computer itself has its own kind of limitations, but there were ways around it. But aside from that, that was like your thing for a couple of years. You were the streaming guy in our group, and that was, or not the stream guy, but you were the VR guy in our group. And for a time, I kind of thought that you would also get into all this other like metaverse stuff that's happening, but skiing took over, and then you were, not that you are the skiing guy, because that's what chef is kind of synonymous with as well too. But it's a big part of who you are, and that's great. It's not a bad thing. Like if you were out there killing babies, that'd be a bad thing.
Oh my gosh, that is the polar opposite of skiing.
That is the guy.
The exact
This
polar
is our
opposite
friend
of skiing.
This is our friend that skis.
Killing
this
babies.
This is our friend that does VR, and this is our friend that kills babies. Like, oh my god! Like, yep, that's just his hobby nowadays. But it's probably going to change in a few months.
Do you think my intention will focus in a few months, or are you talking the summer?
No, I think in a few years your attention will may shift. You'll still do skiing, obviously, but because like VR was an all year round thing, skiing is not, and so I feel like there will be something else that might encompass you and will become an all year round hobby for you that you will be able to balance with skiing. But even during like skiing time, skiing might take a back seat just for a little bit.
I'll be very interested to see.
I would
if
love
this
to be
happens.
proven wrong or to be proven right.
Well, I don't. Yeah, there's no right answer there. It's just more feels different.
Yeah.
Like when I look at like VR didn't feel like how skiing does in terms of hobbies, because VR was fun, but I don't have the drive. Like I never had the drive that VR had that skiing has.
Well, I think also there's a barrier to entry with VR that most of us just don't have, which is the cost of the item.
Right.
Now it's a lot easier. It's a lot cheaper.
But still, even then, like the Quest, at least one was out when I was doing VR. Like barrier to entry wasn't exactly high if you're talking about getting friends involved and stuff.
But getting friends involved with skiing, I feel like although it's a higher barrier to entry, it's a more likelihood that someone will do it. Because at least I can rent skis to try it out and see if it's worth my time. With VR, it's like, I have to buy VR. Like, well, you could always return it if you don't like it. Then you get into that whole thing. With skiing, 25, at least here in Utah, $25 for the day, $30 for the day just to rent the skis. Maybe $40 for the day of lift pass. Let's we'll carpool up together. That's really not that expensive just to give it a go. But with all due respect to our friends that do live here, could you ever imagine you going like, hey, I tried out this new VR thing. It's just like Destiny. I think you would love it. You should get it too. And any of our friends going like, yeah, I will totally throw down $300 just to try it out. That's not going to happen.
No, it'd definitely be like let me try yours, and they would have to be blown away. Like it would have to be a 200% experience of just like, holy hell, this is amazing.
Yeah. And for me, the one allure that VR had that I fell in love with was Beat Saber, because it brings both kind of the Star Wars aesthetic to it, which I'm a big Star Wars nut,
right?
To music, which I'm a big music fan. And so it was the perfect marriage. And you didn't have to sell me on like licensed songs or anything like that. It helps if I could do Beat Saber, Linkin Park, which I know is a thing, or Skrillex, which I know is a thing, or I could mod it, which I know is a thing. Cool. But like for our other friends to say like, yeah, there's an Apex Legends or there's a Titanfall-esque kind of game,
no, it would have to be not esque. It would have to be
exactly
Apex, Titanfall, Destiny, like actual ports that function amazingly.
Well, Respawn did a Medal of Honor.
Yeah,
right?
but that's Medal of Honor.
Right. And and that's one game that I want to try because of the developer. I'm obviously a fan of the developer. ICE, if you're here, we are a fan of your company. But it is a different property. I'm not very familiar with it, and I would only try it out really because it is Respawn. And the other kind of first person shooter VR games that I have tried, honestly, I'm old. I get a little nauseous with.
You need to get your VR legs.
It could be that.
Yeah. If you're getting nauseous, you need to get your VR legs. You need
I
to
don't
play.
get nauseous with Beat Saber.
Right. You won't.
But the other ones where I have to move around and stuff like that.
You took the same training I did. Maybe you don't remember it as well.
Yes, I took the same.
We are
both certified Windows mixed reality trainers.
Oh, but I can leg up you. I can leg up you right here. I can leg up you.
Oh Jesus. Oh, you got PSVR
I'm also
training.
PSVR certified.
You are PSVR certified.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Google Cardboard certified. So there's that.
Boy, howdy.
I know, right?
I'm
right up there with you.
Does that one have the 6 degrees of movement, or is that one just look around, panorama?
Quinnton, that one has makeshift your own VR headset.
Oh, I know. I'm just wondering if it moves or not.
I have.
I'm just wondering if it moved or not.
No, it was really
panorama, right?
It was the sphere.
The panorama.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that was Beat Saber. If you're getting sick on Beat Saber, you shouldn't touch VR.
Well, I'm not getting sick on
I know. But
that's your bar.
Yeah, that's the bar.
If you're getting sick on Beat Saber, then VR is not for you.
Right. You got a lot of work ahead to get your VR legs, but when you're actually moving around and stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but games where you're moving around, especially games where you're moving around via a joystick or something, yeah, those are the toughest on your brain. The worst is if you're in something that decouples your bottom half from your top half. So let's say a tank, and you're looking around in the turret, but your lower half is obviously the actual tank bit. That can throw people.
You just verbally saying that out loud to me gives me willies.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm sure I could get used to it, but I don't know if I would even give it the time of day to try.
I'm very interested because I've already got an idea of there's a VR training grounds that I want you to try. I just have to remember how to get to it because it's like a game within a game, and I don't remember if it's the Oculus Home or the Steam Home, and I think it's the Steam Home. And then somebody made this world, and it's got all these interactive objects, so you can pick up fireworks and you can set them off and stuff, and balloons, and then they've got guns, and they all have functionality where you can pull out the clips and reload them different ways and stuff. But the important one, the one that really helps with VR legs, is they have 2 objects that you can play with: a pogo stick,
oh gosh,
yeah, and a grappling hook.
Okay, I'm kind of excited for the prospect of a grappling hook because I'm a big fan of the grappling hook in Halo or Pathfinder. But I also understand the physics of what you would look like using a grappling hook. So, yeah, if you can find that out.
Yeah, I'll find it. I'll find it because
that would be great to try out. I'm also just looking at the chat, and the first thing that I look at is Chai Time with You says, I just killed kneecaps. So I don't know what that conversation was about.
That was when we were talking about killing babies versus.
Oh, okay. So you kill babies and she kills kneecaps.
Yeah. So what's the opposite to killing kneecaps? That's my question.
I don't know.
We'll find out. Hopefully,
that's the title of the show. I kill kneecaps. I just killed kneecaps. Thank you, Chai.
So I learned something about Costco.
Oh, okay.
Whenever Costco opens a new store, they apparently will do a little sneaky tactic of they'll put an way, not overpriced item, but a way expensive item in their store to attract people to come in. Hey, did you go to the new Costco yet? Why? Well, there's like a ring that's like $500,000 in the store. There's a hot tub that is, $20,000 in the store. Like, they'll do those kinds of things to make people like, really? Is there something in there like that? Yeah, you should totally go check it out. And then people go check it out, get their groceries, right?
Yeah. So they don't. So it's more of a spectacle than.
But people buy it. People buy it. Like the diamond ring that was like a $250,000 or something like that. That one lasted a week before it was sold. A week. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. This was in, I don't know what store this is. I know a store that has it, but this is in one store. Why don't you describe what it is?
Okay, so this is a single bottle of the Singleton single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 54 years, from Duffington Distillery.
How big's the bottle?
The bottle is 700 milliliters. Looks like this, honey. Okay, it's something about the size of whiskey that I would get.
What's that price point?
Well, the if you guys want to look it up, the SKU is at Costco.com. The SKU is 1611121.
Which I'm pretty sure doesn't come up on Costco.com, but continue.
$36,000, $999. Sorry, I'm reading this wrong because it's just so
Just
big.
say 37.
$37,000. It's 37. Kid Shorin on Twitch, by the way. We're streaming this on Twitch. You guys want to check it out? $37,000. Now, look. I know you don't drink alcohol.
Uh-huh.
We drink alcohol.
Right.
We don't spend that kind of money. I just want to let you know that bottle of whiskey I have over there was like $40. So this Kid Shore, it sounded good until I heard the price. I'm never impressed when someone puts something on my plate or something like this is such and such whiskey. Awesome. 3 drops of that costs $700. I'm like, why? Why are you giving this to me? Like, are
you talking at a restaurant or someone's at house that are like, yeah, check this out kind of thing?
Either like
because a restaurant, I feel like they're trying to sell you something, obviously.
Yeah, but usually if it's a friend or somebody I've gone to their house and they're trying to impress upon me how much they can just I am this rich or I'm this stupid that I am pouring you basically half of your annual income. Like, why would you do like
It's when you look at him and go, I hope you don't expect a tip.
Yeah, right. I am totally fine with me deciding I'm going to pay whatever the price is of the most expensive pizza that's somewhere in New York, and it's like $7,000 for the pizza because it's got like gold leaf on it and caviar and all this other stuff on it. Like I'm totally fine with me making that decision because I'm making the dumb decision because clearly I'm doing it for the gram or clearly I'm doing it for content and I'm hoping that I will get some sort of return on investment. I'm probably not, but clearly it's my decision. But if you are trying to get up on your high horse of I can afford this and I want you to imbibe the drink of gods because I can afford, I don't care. I really don't care. Now, if it's good, I will just say, yes, this is good. It's worth money. I am totally fine with things being worth money. When like, you show me a handcrafted something, handcrafted purse or a handcrafted whatever. This costs $400 because I bled sweat and tears to make this. Like, okay, that's fine. But if it's just like, like I just have this thing because no one else can have it, and I want to show you, or I want to impress upon you that I can afford it. That's all you have it for. Like, I don't care. Yeah.
No, on a side note, like when it comes to alcohol and like whiskey and stuff, isn't there like a return, like a diminishing return on investments for like, oh, I've aged it for 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Like as you go further and further, isn't there like a return, like a lowering, diminishing return on investment of like, okay, well, 50 tastes the same as 75 and 75 tastes the same as about 100 and 100 like.
It depends. It depends on the kind of whiskey, what kind of barrels they were aged in. There's a lot of varying factors.
It's just a jar inside of grandma's cupboard.
And I mean, I'll tell you right now, like we have a cask over there. It looks like a nice barrel, and you know the first whiskey that we aged in there, we aged it for about a month, and it was extremely flavorful. The next whiskey that we aged in there, because it also soaked up the whiskey from previous aging, we only aged it for 2 weeks, but it had a very nice, like sweeter aftertaste that the whiskey right out of the bottle did not have. So there are going to be differences. Some are going to be better than others. It all depends on like what you're into. I will tell you, I am not as snooty as some other whiskey people are, where they can just, you know, just by walking into the room, they'll have this like air of, oh, I know this whiskey barrel age and what it, you know, what it's going to taste like versus that one over there. There are obviously going to be some that if you gave me a blind test, I probably couldn't tell you. Yeah. And a lot of the time, just like art, a lot of the time it's the name of the distillery, it's the name of the person that has it in their hand, and it's the the provenance of that whiskey.
Right.
The story behind it. You were paying for the story of this whiskey was aged in a barrel that was in the Revolutionary War. Oh my God, it must taste like Revolutionary War then. What the hell does that taste like? I don't know, but it must, right? Like,
It tastes like Revolutionary War.
So we're gonna price this at
gunpowder and treason.
Exactly, but we're gonna price it at $20,000. Sure. And just like anything else that's sold on the open market, if enough people say yes to it,
Drink it from a musket barrel.
you have to. But if enough people are agreeing on it,
Right.
like I said, just like art,
Right.
who are you to say no?
Right.
Right, Genji? Who is anybody to say no to it? So, I mean, for me, when it comes to different whiskeys and why I would choose this over the other, it just comes down to like, does it burn when I drink it?
Right.
When I say that to you, the first thing that comes to your head is like, why would you want that at all? Right? Or something akin to that?
I'm more checked out, just like,
Yeah.
just like, okay.
But like there are some people like that.
Right.
You know? All right, cool. So, but for $37,000, like it better come with a back scratch too. Like like
Someone's like,
yeah. So like for that price, I better get some sort of like full body massage.
Right.
It just like
for the cost of a car.
Yeah.
And a nice car at that.
I mean, you said somebody bought a diamond ring for $250,000.
Right.
And that will last forever. Like, you know, quote unquote. Whereas this bottle will also probably last forever. I highly doubt that the person that decides to buy that bottle will actually open it. They will probably buy it. They will take the Costco card with them and have it on their mantle to say, this is the bottle. This is the price that I paid for it. And I have it.
They got the receipt next to it. Like it's like...
I mean, it's almost like getting your like getting the seal of, not seal of approval, but seal of like when you go to the antique shop and they have the letter of provenance. It's basically the same kind of concept. Like this proves that this is worth this much.
Golden back scratcher. I love it.
I mean, if it is a golden back scratcher, I mean, at least that could be used on a practical note.
Better.
I guess.
At the very least, better.
Yeah.
No, I can't. There comes a cost when it's like, it's just, there's diminishing returns and it's like, okay, is it more flavorful? Let's just say yes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but is it worth $37,000 when there's like so many more
This one
things.
has the tears of
Go
the
on.
widows.
Oh my
from
gosh.
the Revolutionary War.
The widows.
The widows.
The widows.
The widows, because they lost their
was-
husbands. The tears of the widows.
That was 1776.
yes.
And if they're widows, then their lifespan would have gone into like the 1800s at max.
Okay. Well. Okay. So.
And at
so,
50
so
years,
this
that's
was
at
from-
1950, 1970.
What came first? This was from the tears of the Prussian War. One of them.
You want to hear that? Isn't that terrible to hear though? Like 1970 is 50 years ago.
Yeah, I've seen, like, Aurelia and I have seen some pretty, like, interesting juxtapositions of, like, you think something is really old, but when you actually look at how old it is, it's like, oh wow, that actually is pretty recent. Or the exact opposite.
Right.
You think something is pretty recent, like, oh my god, that's been around. Like we said the last time, Oreo is 100 years old. Like, really? Like, I just 110. I think of Oreo as a somewhat newish company, or Nintendo. I mean, they are hundreds of years old because
Right, they didn't do
obviously
video
they
games
didn't
before.
start with video games. They started with wooden playing cards.
Right.
But effectively, that's how old that company is. And it's like, wow, that's amazing.
That's like what?
That's like amazing.
No, the way you said wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
But,
Wow.
but tears of the widows of
my word.
women from some war were diluted into this bottle.
What's the most expensive like food or drink that you've ever gotten?
I'd say the most expensive drink that I got, I didn't pay for.
Okay.
And that was in Vegas at one of our events for Microsoft. And it was one of
You
those
told me about this.
giant goblet drinks
Okay.
that was clearly designed for multiple people to share. But I'm an asshole. And so I said, no, I'm going to imbibe
Down this
on
whole
my
thing.
own.
I'm gonna get myself just a little alcohol poisoning. Don't mind me.
So-
Don't mind me.
The thing about it though, like, and I'm sure you've heard this before, whenever you get mixed drinks, you hear the term watered down.
Right.
This was very watered down. Like, I did get tipsy. I didn't get vomitous,
White girl
drunk or
wasted.
anything like that. White girl wasted or anything like that. Or woo girl wasted. I didn't do that.
Woo girl.
You don't know what a woo
What
girl
is a woo girl?
Can you please demonstrate a woo girl?
What?
Have you heard the woo girls? Woo! I apologize for those listening. I should have did that away from the mic.
You didn't get that.
I didn't get
level
that. I didn't get that wasted
because it had like a 1% alcohol content.
No, it
so-
wasn't 1%, but it
Two.
it was definitely like
Lower.
I got tipsy, but it was, I believe it was like a $45 to $50 drink. Because again, you're supposed to share it with other people.
Right.
But then our manager, Will, said, "Get what you want, Will." And I was like, I was kind of joking that I would get this, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So, what do you want from me?
Wowzers! If I wasn't already
I'm
dead,
sorry,
I'd know
Kid
it.
Short. I apologize. I don't mean to make you deaf.
Just forward the medical bills to him. That's all. What about food?
Food.
And I want something you bought
Okay.
because using company budget doesn't super count. I went and got $300 worth of steak. Who paid for it? Not me.
I mean, like, what? Yeah.
Come on, focus up. Let's hear it.
Okay.
While you're thinking, I can tell you mine. Mine is very simple. It was
All
a
right.
$50 steak.
Oh, yeah. See, that's
Yeah,
a
no,
drop.
but it was really good.
That's-
It was really good.
I think it was $150. It was kind of like a surf and turf, but like a really fancy surf and turf,
Okay.
like lobster tail and whatever turfy things that are out there.
Lobster tail and turfy things.
Yeah, but big, F off plate. But yeah, it was $150. No, 120, but with tip, it was 150. I remember that. The drink was like 20. That was during like my network marketing phase, where I thought that when you buy things expensive because you can, you will like put out to everybody else that you were that cool and people will want to be your friends. And that worked for 10 minutes.
Aw.
You're going to ding.
Bing bong.
Yeah, see? You're going to wait for the ding until I start talking. Hey, folks, thank you so
Bing bong. Thank you, Bing bong.
Folks, thank you so much for watching and or listening. FYI, we actually stream this on Twitch if my computer decides not to freeze up.
Which it hasn't
Hasn't
done it again.
done it yet. But in any event, that is twitch.tv/LazyTechTV. You can follow both of us on Instagram, the Still Recording Podcast. And you can follow us individually. Where can people find you?
On Xbox and Instagram at Firewall.
You can find me those places under Lazy Tech Tony. And also, if you want to discuss anything we had talked about today, check out the Discord. We have a lot of things going on there, including some other podcasts that we highly recommend, including the Cigar Talk podcast. A couple of great guys and talk about cigars, bourbons, and race relations. Who would have thought? It's very interesting, definitely. But yeah, Quinnton, thank you very much for being here. Aurelia, I appreciate you being here too. Dogs, we have to talk. See you guys in the next one. Later.
Bye, guys.
Heart